Hello, I'm Patrick Magee, sports writer for the Sun Herald.
I'm Patrick Ochs, sports writer of the Sun Herald, and this is Sports Guys Week 3.
We're talking about all the big games Friday night. I'll be talking about Pascagoula, D'Iberville, and Gaucher Van Cleve.
I'll talk about St. Stanislaus visiting Long Beach, and then one of the top games of the week, we have number 6 Picayune visiting number 1 St. Martin, our third number 1 already this short season, 3 weeks in. Maybe there's a Sun Herald curse. I don't know. I guess we'll find out if Picayune comes out on top Friday. You did a good story this week about St. Martin and their pretty dynamic offense. And I think the most intriguing thing to me is that they rotate 2 quarterbacks who've been really good so far. Got Tyler Polk, who missed most of last season with an injury. He's come back. He's completed 9 of 11 passes already. They might as well call him Slash because he passes the ball. He can get out and catch a couple balls. He rushes. He does all that well. And they got Wayne Overman, who delivers the ball. And the big target is junior receiver Caleb Reddix, leading the coast in receptions and receiving yards, one of the state's leaders already. Then you got Picayune trying to bounce back from a tough opener last week. They were without some guys too, but we found out that Jaquel Green, I'm sure you'll talk about him, burst on the scene last week. Standing out for Picayune last week was Josh Littles. They just kept feeding him the ball. D'Iberville knew what they were going to do, and they still couldn't stop Littles. He rushed for 322 yards, 2 touchdowns. I like St. Martin to come out on top, kind of break the curse this week by 14 points or so. We'll go with that. Then in the other game, you have Forrest Williams, now at Long Beach, facing his former team, the Rocketshaws. 2 0-2 teams, both played in their Shrimp Bowl. You got Stanislaus, who's played some pretty tough competition. Obviously, they lost to Gulfport in the Shrimp Bowl, and then they lost at St. Paul's last week in Mobile. Miles Brennan is only about 40 yards off of his record-breaking pace last year. I like them to try and figure things out. But in saying that, Long Beach did take a step forward last week. They did lose to South Jones, but TQ Newsome, the freshman quarterback, took a step forward, racked up, I think, 300 so yards, for the Bearcats. I think they'll continue to improve, but I think Rocketshaws, their offense will just be too much. I like them by 21.
Yeah, Pascagoula D'Iberville's developed into a nice rivalry, even though D'Iberville's kind of had their number the last 2 years, playing really good defense. And I think if there's one concern for D'Iberville going into this game is defense. They gave up a lot of yards to Picayune and to the Spanish Fort the week before. Right now, Buddy Singleton's hoping for a little bit more out of that unit going into this game. Pascagoula, I think you're seeing gradual improvement on the offensive side of the ball. Granlund Torgeson's throwing the ball really well, really good at hitting the intermediate passes. So I see him progressing, and I see Pascagoula a little bit better on offense. But D'Iberville is really dynamic. With Jaquel Green really showed last week, as you said, against Picayune. I think Jaquel Green gives them enough on offense to get past Picayune. I think it's going to be a tight game that D'Iberville probably wins in the final moments. As far as Van Cleve, Gaucher, nice rivalry game. Gaucher's played pretty well early on. Van Cleve pretty good. Gaucher 1-1, just had that tight loss to George County. They bounced back to beat Moss Point last week. Van Cleve's played pretty well. That win at Stone was pretty impressive, I thought. And then they bounced back. Maybe didn't play as well as they would have hoped, but really took down Port Gibson coming in. But I see Gaucher probably winning this by a couple of touchdowns. I think LaCharles Pringle is really a dynamic guy at quarterback for the Gators, and I see them winning pretty easily. As far as other games I want to touch on, I see Harrison Central beating Moss Point. Ocean Springs, I think, really takes care of Hammond this Friday. And Resurrection, I think, goes on the road to Jay in Florida and wins that game.
And, I think Harrison Central finally gets over the hump with Casey Kane, gets that first win. I think they beat Moss Point. And then I think Hancock hosting Bay High in a rivalry game, I think they pushed their record to 3-0.
Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week.